Welcome to Interaxis. This part of the system actually tells us about the attribute steering, and we can use these bar graphs to steer between attributes. This is the scatter plot that we can see, and overall these, and moreover this is the attribute, the drop zones for y and x respectively. Then these are the data points that we can see, and we can use this tooltip to actually put the data inside the tooltips, and then there is a drop down to explain about the attributes. Moreover, we can also switch between data sets using these buttons, which will go to Pokemon, Spotify, and car data as well. Now these we can zoom in, zoom out, and everything. This is the data table, and the data table also has so we can just like steer around and see that the data table is updating as we hover on the. Now let's say we want to put the Jaguar S in our like X hive. This is the car that we want to go above in our retail price, and let's say we want to go with Honda inside because we don't want to go below that. So the scatter plot will immediately update itself accordingly when we put them in the charts. Now let's say we want all the RWDs. We go ahead and put the y-axis attribute and we give it weight. The scatter plots again updates, and as you can see, if we hover around all the datas, you can see that the RWDs are all 1 over here. That means they are all RWDs. So the above cluster has all the RWDs. We can actually save this access as well, and then we can use it for further use. We can activate the activate clustering by clicking on the activate cluster button. We select the cluster that we want to analyze by the lasso tool, then we can go ahead and click on the analyze save cluster button, which will show us all the continuous and the category values that we want to analyze. Let's say we see that there is no SUV values. We go to the reload cost. These are the continuous values. Now for cylinder we can see that there are only 4, 6, and 8. Now if we want to, we can compare between only 4, and 8 by eliminating 6. Then we can bring back 6 as well to just make the comparison again, and then we can go ahead and see that the highway MPG is having more values for 23.2 to 24.800, and that's it. So as you can see that we can select the second cluster as well by activating the lasso tool, and then we can see we just select the cluster, then we can go and analyze the save cluster, so we can see again the attributes and see that how it is behaving for this cluster as well. Now we can go ahead and see for the retail price that the 10, 20, 80, and 17,949 had the maximum values. So now this is a second extension system where you can actually go ahead and see that the clusters saved. So this was the first and this was the second. Now you can go ahead and select the clusters that you want to compare out of all the 4 clusters that we had, but over here we write 2. Now it again gives you a visualization of all the attributes for both the clusters. Like let's say for cylinder over here, the 5 cylinder was not present in the second one, but it was present in the first one. So for city MPG as well, you can see how it is behaving. And if you remember, the first cluster was having the non-RWDs, and the next cluster was having all RWDs because most of the weight was given to the RWD. So we can see in the visualization right now where I can show you that the first cluster does not have any RWD, and the second cluster does have RWDs as it was given the maximum weight. Now let's say we just want to play around with the system, and we give the SUV attributes weightage in the x-axis. So again the scatter plot will update accordingly, and then we can go ahead and analyze the cluster that is recently generated. Now we activate the lasso tool and just select the cluster by lasso, and then we can again analyze the cluster. This is now, as you can see, that the SUV data was given maximum weightage. All are SUVs over here in this cluster, and moreover this is just like continuous values, and you can analyze those cluster values again and again. Now let's say that we want to change the values of the y-axis, and we select a predefined attribute. Let's say cylinder. We have only 3 values for this data set, so these are all scattered along it, and then we just select one of those clusters, one of those things that are scattered together, and we want to analyze them. This is just analysis again. So we just did this part because to show that we can see 4 clusters. This is the latest, this is the second latest, this is the third latest, and this is the least previous. So moreover, we can also compare between these clusters by clicking on second and third or any of those, and just click on compare clusters. This will give you a more detailed view of both the clusters, and you can compare simultaneously. Let's say and as you can see that the SUVs was giving more straight, so all are SUVs in the first one and not in the second, and this is just repeated analysis of all the tools that are categorical or continuous in a sense. And